There you go.
Hey, boys and girls.
And we're live.
Of course, as we get live, somebody messages me.
Well, it's a good time to say welcome to the ladies and gentlemen that are listening on YouTube and Twitch. Thanks for tuning in.
This is the Chris and Mike Show. And there you go. That was Nemesis back in the day. That's Free Man. It's all about the rock and roll. So with us today, again, welcome to the show. We have Justin Willoughby.
Welcome,
Justin's
Justin.
going to give us a little FYI about who he is, what he's all about, and then we're going to dive deep in this amazing, stimulating, engaging conversation that all the world wants to see and hear.
All
Go
the
ahead,
world.
Justin.
All the world. That is
21 countries, man.
21 countries.
That's like almost all the world. Well,
Right?
man, so the Chris and Mike Show.
Yeah.
Got to watch a couple of your episodes, guys, and you guys some good things going, bro. Good stuff.
Thank you.
Good
Thank
stuff.
you very much.
A lot of organic conversation. Well, thanks for having me on as a guest. I'm Justin. I'm a success coach with Energized Health and also with 600 Pounds Down. So I do multi-platform, you want to call it work. So I'm a health guy. When I say success coach, that means a health guy, right? So I lead people through a program that helps them shed fat, gain health, gain hydration to their cells and outside their cells, and also just transforms their life, mind, body, and spirit. Now, I have a passion for that because of my story, and I'm sure we're going to get into that and everything. But, man, guys, I dropped like 600 pounds in my life. 600 pounds.
That's insane.
That is crazy.
That's why you're here, because I want to hear the story.
Absolutely.
So I've been there, done that, right? So I birthed a passion out of that. And when you live through something, as you guys are aware, as you've gone through your own challenges in your own life, you live through something, you overcome it, and now you're passionate and you're excited about it. And then you say, I see others who are trapped in this same snare, and I want to help them out of it. So that's what I do today. I just help people out of their trap, out of their food addiction, and out of things that they're struggling with their health.
Nice.
That's
So
awesome.
so I completely respect that, because I'm one of those big believers. Like all the years I've worked out, the trainers need to be in shape. Like I'm not going to listen to you unless you're in shape. If you're coming in with a jelly donut roll, and an extra chin, and it's like, I'm sorry, you have no credibility with me, because you need to be in shape, because those who work out, they're aspiring to be that trainer. And what drives me nuts at EOS Fitness, because I go there now, there's this one trainer, all he does is talk. Like, I watch him. And for the half an hour, like free training, 20 minutes of it is him running his mouth. And you hear all his political views. We've heard him tell women, having a discussion about the abortion and the rights related with that. And we're like, dude, you're a dude. You have no say in that. Like, just shut up. Right? But all this guy does, he just runs his mouth the whole time, to whereas if I actually went in, didn't know anything, and I got my free training session, I'd be pissed if I got paired up with that guy.
Sure.
Because legit, they'll do one rep, like 6 reps, and then they'll sit, and the dude will just run his mouth the whole time. And then it's like, really, I go through 3 sets on the machine next to him, and I'm up and over, and they're still on that same one with just 1 set. So kudos to you for actually, which is where we're going to go with this, is you lived a super unhealthy lifestyle, and you made a drastic change. And Mike knows, I don't call it diet, because diets fail. It's a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle change. It's a new approach. It's whatever you want to call it. But I've never been a big believer in diets, because diets are trends. Diets are a multi-billion-dollar empire that just, you get people on the board, and then, Ozempic, right? All the bad stuff's coming out now about Ozempic, but everybody's like, oh, Ozempic. And then you see people putting the weight back on. Why? Because it's not a lifestyle change.
Mm-hmm. It's got to be a mental transformation that happens in your life, right? I mean, you can, I've heard people go on diets where they just, they're eating whatever they want to eat, just lesser portions. But however, what we see there is that people aren't getting healthy. It's one thing to lose weight or fat. It's another thing to actually gain health and lose fat. So there's that, we're trying to we're trying to maneuver that way. But kudos to you on that soapbox about that trainer, man. Like that's a real deal thing, Chris.
Right? Yeah. And yeah. And I vocalized it a little bit, which, wasn't a very good,
It's a great intro.
But it's true though. I mean, I get if you're,
Well, look, you wouldn't go to a vocal coach and show up and the guy can't carry a tune in a bucket and go, yeah, this guy can make me a better singer. Chris can already sing, right? So if he showed up and the guy was tone deaf, I got to move on. It's the same concept.
It is the same concept.
If the guy weighs 300 pounds telling you that you have to get more motivated, it's real hard to take him seriously. Even if he's great at his job, he might be a wonderful coach. But I agree with Chris. If I looked at him, I'm thinking, I'm already not overweight, right? I'm probably not in the greatest shape. So I agree with Justin in that I couldn't go run a mile right now. I look like I could. And there's a difference. He's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was listening to your last episode with Steve Feldman, which my boy Steve, I love Steve, man. He's a great guy.
It was fun. That was a great episode.
Amazing what's happening in his life and just the opportunities he's had to help a lot of people, and his faith has been so great to lead him through, and he's just a hunger to reach people, which I love. But shout out to Steve. Love you, man.
Hi, Steve.
Hey, Steve.
Hey, Steve. Hey, Steve.
Love you, brother.
But so I hear that Chris likes to work out. Now, Mike, you're more of like the outside guy. Let me go out and do things, not just like in a
Drive
gym.
his car super fast.
Yeah. I mean, I like being outside to an extent. I'm definitely not, I don't know. I wouldn't be considered an outdoorsman, but.
But you like monkey business. You're more of like, I don't want to be in a gym. You do things more.
Correct.
Yeah.
I would go walk. If somebody wanted to go walk, I would go do things like that. Go to the woods, hike, things like that. I would be fine with things like that. I'm just not a go to the gym and pump myself up with muscles or whatever. That's not my motivation.
Sure. And you can do a lot of things. Like I think you were saying on the last episode too about, going for hikes and things like that. So I just wanted to double check that was you, and Chris, you're the guy that likes to go to the gym, but you can find.
We do everything. Like my wife and I paddleboard, we hike, we trail run, we do regular street running.
You definitely like being outside too, for sure.
Yeah, I like everything that's physically challenging. Like I live on an acre, so I have a tractor obviously when I mow my lawn, so I'll actually grab the grass bags from the furthest point of my yard and diagonally walk all the way across, just holding them out like this.
Nice.
Because it's a workout.
Yep.
Right? It's engaging the core, and or I'll have the big red, 100-gallon garbage can I'll fill up and I'll have it behind my head walking across the yard because it's a workout. So even though I'll spend 3 hours outside doing yard work, it's legit. I make sure that as much of it possible is manual labor.
You're purposely making the job as hard as possible.
Right.
Which I admire. I mean, I do stupid things like that too.
Yeah.
Because you know that you're already sweating, you got your heart rate up, you might as well take advantage of it.
Exactly.
Intentionality is key. Intentionality is key, and I find that to be the same with me. I mean, the old sayings that people said to get more activity, and they say go park at the furthest part of the parking lot to walk into the store. Like that's an easy one. But even the other day, I was going to an appointment, and I just remember my old self when I was so large, which we'll get into here momentarily. But I remember being the guy that I would just avoid stairs. I would avoid every long distance thing I could in the world, and that actually motivates me to make sure that I don't do that anymore. Because I'm like, now
there's something I do, Justin. If there's stairs or an escalator, I'm always going to take the stairs.
Yeah.
100%. I'm the same way. I don't elevators and escalators are for wussies.
Shout out to the wussies out there.
Don't take that literally. Yeah. But no, I'm the same way. Like when we go on vacation, Nikki and I, wherever we go, if we're on the 10th floor, I'll take the stairs at least once a day, and she'll take the elevator. But but that's my insanity. That's the addict in me, right? Because what was all about alcohol transformed into that. So something else had to take over that thing. And straight up, I see something that works. It's tunnel vision. Like I don't waver. Like our show, as soon as I started realizing dropping 3 shorts a day was going to make us more relevant, have more people driven to our page and subscribing and viewing, I haven't stopped that because it's like, well, that works. So that's why I equate everything to lifestyle. It's not a diet. It's not it's a lifestyle change.
It
You have
comes
to
down
shift
to
like
consistency, right?
right consistency, habits, and committing to doing it. Like you said, Justin, it's everything. It's mental, it's physical, it's audio, it's the curses and the triggers and shit. You have to be aware of all that stuff when you're going towards a change in your lifestyle, because it's going to have an impact on all different levels, right?
Right. 100%, man. Yeah. Yeah, you live and learn that as you go. And it's a muscle that's developed. I feel like it's harder to develop that muscle than it is to develop like a bench press, or it's harder to develop this is the real deal. You have to actually grow the commitment and discipline muscle for it to work. And it just gets better, and it grows the more and more you actually say no to things, and the more and more you actually strategically place those things that might require a little more effort, like taking the stairs, or like you were saying, grab something and carry it for a distance. That develops a discipline needed, and it just kind of escalates from there.
Right.
Absolutely.
And you feel better. You feel better when you sweat, for an hour a day. It's just, at least I do anyway.
Well, and I think the key to that, following up, is it sucks every time, right? Nobody really enjoys that 100%. The enjoyment is the result that you get out of it. You have to learn that sometimes the reward is delayed, right? You get a delayed reward. In that, if you do it consistently, in a month you're going to look better, in 3 months you're going to look better, and more importantly, you're going to feel better.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect. Longevity is the game here. Longevity is the game with everything.
Yeah. So let's dive into your life, Justin. What, you weren't born 600 pounds. So what happened, man?
Can you imagine if I was?
Right?
Poor mom.
Oh my God. You would be, yeah.
Oh, guys, yeah. My family was amazing. They loved me growing up. I had a mom, dad, and I had a brother. And they were very loving people. But one thing that we weren't wise on food selections. We grew up on government assistance.
Okay.
We grew up poor and poverty. My mom had a job. My dad retired early because of some back issues. So there was not a lot of income coming into my house. And I see a lot of in America right now, those who might be in a poverty level or receiving assistance from the government. There's a lack of desire to care for yourself, a lack of desire to take care of what healthy foods are into your body. So I grew up like that guy. We had hot dogs at every meal almost, and ramen noodles and white bread and all the margarine. You give me, you give me some poison right now. So it felt like back then I loved it. But today I look back and like, holy cow, I'm still here. After that. But that's the type of home I grew up in. We didn't encourage activity very much. I had friends and I played football with here and there, but honestly, it wasn't enough activity to really burn calories and prevent the weight gain that was happening in my life. So I grew up a big kid. My brother was somewhat a bigger guy, not too bad. My mom's side of the family is more obese. My dad's side of the family was pretty thin. Just a little dad bod going on there. So that was my setting. But I had an attraction to food beyond a healthy level, beyond a healthy limit. And so I remember just thinking about when I went to bed, what am I going to eat tomorrow? I thought about our once a month treat because we were on assistance. We didn't buy a lot of food out because it was just too expensive for us. And so my mom on payday would say, all right, we have, XYZ, so let's go have something fun. So I remember just thinking a month, hey, what are we going to have? Maybe McDonald's, maybe Burger King, maybe Pizza Hut, something like that would really tickle my taste buds. And I just remember thinking about that stuff, gorging myself when we had the opportunity because I craved it. And then those foods, of course, the foods that we consume, if you think about it, they are created to tickle the taste bud.
Yeah.
They're created to tickle the taste bud. So they hold us in captivity in some way, saying, this is so good, I want more. It's like a brainwash thing. And it's a dopamine hit in the brain. And we're like, I need more of that. You guys probably can relate to that. You guys have a food that y'all like remember that you did that with?
Even more so, we've had some health folks on, and I don't remember if it was a Nate Palmer, the physical fitness guy, or if it's Peter Ho, the health wellness coach, but I think it was Nate. But he talked about McDonald's hamburgers and how they're designed to be consumed in 2 bites.
Yes.
And because they're designed to be consumed in 2 bites, you eat them faster. So as you eat it faster, then you're still hungry because it hasn't had a chance to actually do anything in your stomach. which is why then you go back to the counter and get a Big Mac or whatever the case may be, because
And the fact there's no nutritional value.
right, it's completely unnutritional. I saw something, I don't know if it's you or not. Somebody had a McDonald's bag that was 20 years old, and inside it was a hamburger and fries.
Saw that.
You did, right? That was a trip, right? There was no condiments on the burger or cheese. It was just 2 buns and the patty and the fries. The fries still kind of looked intact. They were darker brown, like they were a little over fried. And the burger itself was the thickness of, like, for those of you who can't see us, like a thickness of a quarter, right? It shrunk a little bit, but it was still intact. The bun was still intact. 20 years later, that's just... And it was still wrapped up in the stuff. That, to me, was just absolutely disgusting. Like, are you kidding me? So I don't know if it was real or not, because it's so hard to tell nowadays what's real and what's not real.
Well, but one thing that we've talked about with those same 2 people is the difference in the amount of ingredients that were in.
Yes.
There's a classic example. You can Google it right now. Look at the ingredients in a McDonald's French fry from 1970 and the ingredients today. There was like 4 ingredients in 1970. Might have been 3. It might have been just salt, potatoes, and whatever. Oh, no, there was the beef stock cube in
Tallow.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Now there's like 10 ingredients in those same French fries, and they don't taste good anymore. Like that same craving that we had when we were kids, I don't have that for a McDonald's French fry anymore. I've tried them several times in the last year. It doesn't do it for me anymore, and that's why there's chemicals in there that we're not supposed to be consuming.
Sure. Right. They removed the tallow in 1990, replaced it with vegetable oil with beef flavoring. But it's not telling me what. Oh, it's a video. I'm not watching the Fry Facts video. It's telling me what the ingredients were. I typed in ingredients in McDonald's French fries in 1970, but it didn't want to show me.
But they changed. That's the thing.
Yeah,
correct.
Yeah,
We made things.
Okay, so here's one. Not to interrupt you. Here's one that says in 75 they had 3 ingredients.
That's what I thought.
Which was potatoes, beef tallow, and salt. Now it's 19 ingredients. But I can't find what. Right, but I can't find what the 19 ingredients are.
It doesn't matter. That's the point. Now
no, I know. It's insane. It's insane. Oh, let's see.
You probably can't even pronounce them.
Here's all 19 ingredients. Okay, so, oh my God. Behind the fry, they call it. They're going to drop. Okay, potatoes, shocking. Salt, yay. I can say that. Canola oil. Corn oil, because let's have 2 oils. Soybean oil, let's have 3. 4. Hydrogenated soybean oil. Natural beef flavor. Hydrolyzed wheat, hydrolyzed. Is that hydrolyzed wheat?
Yes.
Hydrolyzed milk, dextrose, sodium acid phosphates. Wow, what the frick is that word? Prisulfate, citric acid. Oh my God, this is a hard one. Dithiopaloxasaxine. It's an anti-foaming agent. Because God forbid the fries foam. This one
why
just
does
has,
that stuff need to be in a French fry?
I don't know. I'm only on 14. TBHQ, which is tertiary butyl hydrocholine, whatever the hell. Mono and diglycerides. Leavening, which is a sodium bicarbonate. Disodium dihydrogen pyrophosphate. Wow. BHA, which is butylated hydroxysol. And then your 19th ingredient is annatto.
I wonder if it's a color
Wow.
thing. Yeah, that's a lot.
Why does that have to be in a French fry?
I don't know. And wow.
Well, those oils are, think about it. All those oils, they are inflammatory, especially if they're heated at temperatures. They're inflammatory, which then creates inflammation in the body, which leads to heart disease, cancers, and other types of diseases that people are dying prematurely from. So we need to be more wise. And I kind of like, not to get political, but RFK coming into the game and trying to change some things. That needs to happen.
Yeah.
Whatever side you flow on, whatever, I just think there needed to be a change.
The fact they're taking the dyes out, if that really happens, that's a huge first step. I agree with you.
Yeah, huge. That needs to be something revisited. But anyway, I grew up with that. So I don't think I was in the beef tallow days, though.
How old are you?
So I'm 38. I'm
Okay.
38.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And when did you start your transformation journey?
I was 16. So
Really?
what?
Okay.
22 years ago? 22 years
So
ago?
how much did you weigh at 16?
Man, so I topped the scale. So because of my habits and everything, and food addiction plus anxiety, because I had a lot of anxiety attacks too, and I thought
Oh,
I
I'm
was
sure.
dying. My heart would just like pound
I
onto
can
my
relate,
chest.
man.
Oh, bro, that is so
I
it's
didn't know what it
messy.
was, and I
I
don't
thought,
think anybody knew what it was
I think
back
you're
in my
dying.
day. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, you're over. Like this is it. This is the big one. But found out it was anxiety disorder. It put me on some medications, which didn't really do anything. It's kind of a band-aid over the wound type thing, and I had to cope with it other ways. But because of food addiction and because of anxiety and depression, I ballooned up in weight at 16. So I would call age 14 and 16 would be the 2 years I started really putting on a large amount of weight. And
Okay.
that's when they took me to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania by ambulance from my house because I
Oh,
was so large. It was like something you see on my 600-pound life, right?
okay. Yeah, and I've
And
watched that. That's what originally
yeah,
intrigued me about you was, oh, this is going
yeah,
to be a good conversation. Okay, so
yeah.
you weighed 600 pounds at between
I weighed
14
more
and
than that.
16?
When they
Oh,
weed me in, I was 799. So
oh
I
Oh,
was
God.
one donut
Oh
away.
God.
ouch.
Yeah, yeah. I'm
Wow.
laughing at it. Look at me. Yeah, yeah, guys.
I can't.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
to look at you can't even imagine. So if
yeah.
you're just listening to this, go tune into either YouTube or Spotify, get the
Yeah.
video because you would not believe that this guy could be that. That just fascinates me, man.
So, what do you weigh now?
I weighed in this morning at 211.6.
How tall are you?
Yeah.
I'm 5'8", maybe a little bit over that.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So they would still categorize me as obese. Okay. So that's something that I look at. But here's a problem with the body mass index.
Okay.
They don't factor in muscle. They don't factor in fat, muscle, and hydration to the body. What they do factor in is your total metric, your total sum of weight and your
Really?
height. And so if you look at it that way, man, I have a scale that I look at. It's a bioimpedance scale.
Hmm.
And what it does is it breaks down the fat, it breaks down the water, and it breaks down the muscle.
Okay.
And I have some solid hydration and some solid muscle. And of course, there's a little bit extra fat that I still need to lose. Probably another 15 pounds would be really good for me. But
Okay.
yeah, I put on a lot of muscle the last couple of years, guys. I've been really working hard
Good.
and kind of not worrying so much about the scale anymore. So yeah,
Mm.
my top weight was 799. I was
Wow.
16 years old. So that
That
was
is
Wow.
crazy.
yeah.
How do this fascinates me because it just does. Can you take us back to a day in the life when you're 16, weighing 799 pounds? What your typical day was like,
Yeah,
if
please.
that's possible?
Yeah, man, that's before everything, right? So
Right.
uh it really lethargic. So I was a
Yeah.
teenager.
Right.
I knew it all. I didn't care what anybody said. My parents, whatever, like
We were all that
uh,
smart at that
yeah.
age.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
It sometimes just kind of keeps going, but I definitely was involved in video games a lot, computer. I lived in a fantasy land constantly. I watched WWE or F back then.
Were you
Uh,
very isolated?
I had friends, but they would have to come and visit me, right? I
Right.
couldn't
Okay.
go out and do things.
But you
Yeah.
did
So
socialize with other kids. They
not
just came to
much.
you.
Online. Online was my
Ah.
biggest, like AOL Instant Messenger, ICQ, MSN Messenger back in the day. Those are my chat features that I use to
Gotcha.
talk to people. Yeah.
Cool.
Ate a lot of food. I mean,
Yeah.
I could wolf down a whole bag of apples in one sitting if I wanted to.
Wow.
Um,
How many apples were in the bag? 12.
what do you think? Like 9 or 10, maybe
Yeah,
12.
there's
Okay.
usually 10
Yeah.
or 12 apples in a bag.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's kind of back up a little bit. What I'm wanting to kind of understand is like a day. So it's what time do you wake up? 6 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah. So I would sleep in. No, I'm
Okay.
a teenager. I didn't have any motivation to get up anyway. So
Okay.
unless it was to eat.
Right. Okay.
So,
But that, yeah. So you get up. How long does it take you a typical day to actually get up and moving and up and around? Like you wake up
here's-
at 10 o'clock and
yeah, 10. We'll say
know.
10 o'clock roughly. And I remember waking up and I first had to use the bathroom. I needed some help. My brother, he passed away 2 years ago now.
Oh,
Oh,
sorry.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Well, yeah, he actually he got big himself from depression and actually died of a heart attack
Oh.
early. He's like 40 years old, unfortunately.
Oh my.
So yeah,
That's
but
terrible.
he was a really big godsend in my life when I was so large. Like I remember when I woke up like 10 a.m., my brother would,
Sure.
hey bro, I need to use the bathroom. And I literally couldn't use the bathroom by myself. I had to have him hold. I couldn't reach anything. Like my arms were
Yeah.
so small, my gut was so big. I had to
Yeah.
have somebody hold like a urinal over me so I could use the bathroom. And then
Oh,
I had to use if I had to take number two, right, a bowel movement of any sort, I had to have somebody hold something like a pan or something for me to go in because I couldn't sit on a toilet because we were so poor. Our toilet didn't really
wow.
support my weight anyway. So he had to help me with that. So he put up a lot with me. So I got the bathroom business out of the way. Time to eat.
Yeah.
So eggs and sausage, a couple bagels.
How many
Or
eggs? How many
I
eggs?
probably had, I probably had about five. I'm trying to remember. I think like 5 to 6 eggs. So not a ton, right?
Okay.
I mean,
Okay.
I eat that today. I don't care. I'm working out today.
Yeah.
But
Right.
yeah, give me like 5 or 6 or 8 pieces of sausage. You're talking about the pork
Wow.
sausage.
Yeah.
Maybe 2 bagels or 6 pieces of toast. And then that was just warm up, right? Now it's time for some cereal. So I would have a couple bowls of cereal, usually Raisin Bran, Basic Four.
This is all in
Sometimes
the
Lift
same
Chocolates.
setting?
It was within an hour and a half from each other. Yeah,
Wow.
from that.
Wow.
So I would graze a little bit and then go
Two,
have some
two
more.
scoops. Two scoops of raisins, man.
That's right. Get some fiber in, man. So yeah, like it was a lot of food. And then I remember after that, I would just go back to my bedroom, sit on my bed, watch some TV, play on
Yeah.
my computer, do all those things. And then lunchtime came around, and I would probably wolf down a pack of hot dogs, like just a ballpark Franks or whatever, a whole pack by
Would
myself.
Would you cook them first?
Sometimes I eat them raw.
Yeah.
I'm a savage like that.
Yeah. No, that's why I asked.
Yeah, so I would eat them raw or cook them, and I would have maybe 4 or 5 buns with that, and then with
Okay.
that like some Dutch pretzels or maybe some ramen noodles, just kind of with that as well.
Yeah.
And then we lived above a convenience store, and
Oh
so
God.
yeah, man, it was great. I remember the days. You're like, next time you have me on the show, I'm gonna be an obese guy again. But anyway, I'm looking at reminiscing here. I would manipulate my brother. He had autism, and
Okay.
so he was easy to manipulate. And so I used manipulation to steal money in my mom's purse and go
Oh.
down to the store and purchase me some Snickers or Milky Ways, cappuccinos or pizza or whatever.
Right.
And you think mom would think, where'd all my money go? But I don't know. Maybe she was careless with that. So
Yeah.
I took a lot of money out of the end, or I would beg for stuff at the same time. So I would eat whatever, a couple of Milky Ways or a couple of Snickers or something like that with a
Yeah.
cappuccino, large cappuccino. And then that was snack, usually after lunch, or the mini mart pizzas that are out there. Like some of these convenience stores have pizzas. I would eat a whole one by myself in a sitting,
Wow.
maybe aside from one piece sometimes.
Okay.
Soda, Mountain Dew Code Red was my love. I loved that
Yeah.
because it was red. I would chug down like one of those a day here and there.
Wow.
Yeah, I was a savage, man. I just had such an addiction. And then dinner time came around, and that was probably my healthiest meal. My parents made a side salad, and I ate that. uh, and then we'd have probably some sausage or hot dogs again, or hamburgers, and I would have two with the buns. And we always
Wow.
have ice cream and a lot of chips after with that, and a lot of ice cream after that. So I was, if I were to go back and guess the calorie amount, I
Yeah.
was consuming about 5,000 to
I
7,000
was. Yeah.
calories a day.
That was my next question. So
Yeah.
yeah, 5,000 to 6,000 easy
Yeah,
with
maybe
no
like-
exercise.
But just like any
Without
addict,
exercise.
your body required it at that time. You couldn't have just stopped doing that cold turkey.
I probably could have toned it down, but here's the thing. I was addicted, and I loved the
Yeah.
flavor of food, and it was just unhealthy. I worshipped food. It consumed me instead of me consuming it, and that's where I was at.
Yeah. The weird thing when my wife and I, when we had Nate and Peter Ho on, we stopped the bad starches. So the breads, the tortillas. We already eat pretty healthy as it is, but I learned from that show with those guys about the gluten, how the starches can cause inflammation and stuff, like the 19 ingredients in French fries, how many of those are inflammation causes, right? So we stopped all that. Well, the interesting thing, like I said earlier, when I find something that works, I'm just tunnel vision. But when you'd ask the question about the cravings and stuff, nothing really came to mind. And then I thought about, well, wait a minute. Because I was so used to I would make a homemade burrito every day. So it would be chickens and rice, or ground beef and rice with vegetables and stuff like that. Because to me, that was a healthy alternative to the junk food, because I'm not a big junk food guy, right? But I'd also have a tortilla for breakfast, because I would make a breakfast burrito. Sometimes I'd throw it in a bowl, that type of thing. So when we stopped all that, about a month or so into it, then it's kind of that thing. It's like and I haven't eaten Filbertos in years, right? But you drove by a Filbertos, and all of a sudden your brain is like, ooh, tortillas and tacos and cheese. You know what I mean? And but it was so unhealthy.
I just had tacos again last night.
Right. So it's an unhealthy thing to pursue. But that was the closest I could come to something that triggered a craving, because we stepped away from all the starches and the breads and the tortillas and the chips. And
you know what, though, when I was eating those tacos last night, I literally thought to myself, I know why Mexicans are some of the happiest people on earth, because their food is so delicious. It's like, how can you not be happy when you eat that every day? Like, when that's your culture.
Yeah. And so that was the thing. That was the one thing that came to mind as far as the craving. And then, as we've all talked about, everything's in moderation. So it's not bad to have tacos, once a week or every other week, because it's not a consistent thing. So everything in moderation can be at some level.
It's when it becomes a habit, then an addiction, then we have a problem.
Well, you can make them healthier too. That's the thing. Like I can have tacos every day if I wanted to. I can eat corn tortillas and lean meats and a little bit of dash.
And if you go to a true Mexican restaurant, they try and push the corn tortillas on you, because that's the way that they've eaten them for thousands of years.
Yeah.
Flour is not healthy.
No.
White flour you want to avoid. I mean, even I remember the days where when I was still mobile, I went with my friends, and when Subway was around, when I was up in PA, we ended up I'd go to Subway and I'd buy 2 cold cut subs. I would have the whole thing, like 2 foot right there with 2 bags of chips and some soda, and then wake up in the middle of the night, because I would stay the night at his house. I was still really large, and so I don't know how I got out and everything, but he was selling candy bars. I just remember the story. He was selling candy bars $1. Dude, midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm searching through the house out in the living room, and I found the candy bars, and I think I had $5 on me, so I just grabbed $5, put it in there, and I think I even stole some. Don't tell him that, but I think there was that going on confession time. That's how addicted I was, though, guys. It was crazy.
Those were those white candy, right? The wrapper was white.
The white ones, Nigeria.
They're real thin.
I don't know what it's called. Yeah,
like baseball or something. I remember selling them for baseball.
It was a fundraiser.
Yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about. Every now and then I still see them in stores.
Crunch bar. They had a crunch. They had a peanut butter nougat one, whatever. I just one of each, please, and gorge them right there.
That's a whole nother level of addiction, Justin. Yeah. And I've been there. I'll admit it too. When you've stolen, when you're at your worst, and you just have to have something. When you've stolen to get it, that's a whole nother psychological level of, I am the biggest piece of shit on the planet right now. I feel your
the
pain
shame
there.
part.
It is. It's horrible. That is the power of the draw of what your brain. I gotta have it, right. I need that dopamine hit, because that's all it is at the end of the day.
It kicks you, man. It kicks you. I remember even stealing lunches out of the refrigerators at work. Like I would work a part-time job, as I was still really large, but I was trying to get a job and do those things. And I remember stealing food out of the refrigerator. It was somebody's lunch, and then they would come over later and say, "Have you seen my food?" Absolutely not. That's how bad it was.
I don't know what you're talking about.
It's pat in the belly. No, I haven't seen it at all.
Right. What food? Wipe my face off because I saw some sauce on it. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was bad.
So you're 16 years old. You're obesely overweight, 799 pounds. You mentioned earlier your ambulance to a hospital.
Yeah, so it was an insurance thing. I was so large, and I haven't been to a doctor in over a year or so, and they were really on my mom and dad's tail, saying, "We got to get you this. You got to get him checked out. He hasn't been checked out. He hasn't had a physical in a long time." And so they were threatening legal actions. I don't know how the whole thing played out. I don't know if exactly the insurance company was doing this or the doctor. I don't know exactly everything, but I know there was some type of concern happening, and there was some trouble
your parents
brewing.
were neglecting you.
They probably thought that. I think my parents just didn't know how to parent me at that time. I think they were just like, "This is my baby. What do I do? Let's enable him."
But that's what the insurance companies or the doctor were insinuating at the time. Right?
I do. It's something along those lines. I would assume it's some kind of abuse and things like that. Just they're neglecting this individual. And that's my assumption, at least. Anyway, it was some kind of, could have been legal issues. So we ended up having to go to the doctor. Well, I haven't been a doctor in about 2 years-ish, a year and a half. I think it was about a year and a half. Let's keep it safe with that. It's been a little bit.
Okay.
But I couldn't go because I couldn't even fit in a car. I don't even remember how to even, I couldn't even walk that far. I'd probably walk about 5 to 10 steps and have to get out of breath and sit down.
Wow.
So I remember they had to grab me a wheelchair that was an extra large wheelchair, huge wheelchair I barely fit in. They wheeled me up to a car about 30 feet away from my back door, 'cause that's where our driveway was, and then had to put me in a full-size Oldsmobile Intrigue. They put me in the back. My dad pushed me in. I laid down the back seat and I didn't fit. And so he had to push the seats up as much as possible and push my leg in and slam the door very quickly or my foot would have fell out. So it was a very uncomfortable 5 mile ride to the doctor's office, got the wheelchair, went into the doctor's office. He saw me and he looks at me and said, and his face, he didn't even say anything. He just went, and they actually closed the practice down and had me be the last appointment. So I came after hours. So I was so insecure, didn't want anybody to see me. So he said, "All right, come in at this time. We have a half a day." I think it was 12:30. And so after lunch or whatever, they closed down. I go in on the last appointment, and then his face was like just shocked. He didn't even say a word, just shocked face. Looked me up and down, said we got to get him checked out. Checked my heart, checked for fluid around the ankles, things like that, and said, "All right, we need to get him to a hospital." And so the next day, an ambulance came to my house from Pittsburgh, or I don't know if they were from Pittsburgh. That's where they took me. And because I was in a small town, I was about 4 hours away from Bradford, Pennsylvania, and from Pittsburgh, it's about a 4 hour drive. So an ambulance came to my house to take me to Pittsburgh Children's Hospital. And that's when they weighed me in from there when they got me to Pittsburgh. And I was almost 800 pounds.
Wow.
Insane.
That's wow. So from like how long did it take you to actually get to 7? I mean, you don't know because you weren't waiting until you were 16, but when you were 14, you were obviously still heavy, but was it a gradual weight increase over those 16 years, or was it something that all of a sudden when you're 12, it's like game on, and within those 4 years you pack on the weight?
So I remember it. I was always a bigger kid, but then growing up, about ninth grade, I went on the Atkins diet, and I just started eating meat and cheese. My parents were doing the same thing, and I actually dropped a good amount of weight. I don't know what I weighed, but I was definitely down in weight. Not skinny by any means, but definitely healthier. And ninth grade that year, that was mid-year, because I went off the Atkins diet and we started eating whatever I wanted again from there. And then I think I was 15. I was in ninth grade, maybe 15. Yeah, around 15, almost, I would say. And then, or was it 14? I don't remember the age, but it was in ninth grade, and I was on that diet. So I remember cooking class, and the cooking teacher was like, "Oh, you don't eat anything else but meat?" And I said, "Nope, just meat, carnivore, if you will." And then, anyway, long story short, about a year and a half ish, a year and a quarter, I ballooned a huge amount of weight. I don't even know how much weight I put on, but I was thinner, and all of a sudden I remember when I was 16, it was in the summer of 2003. I was weighed in August 2003. I was weighed in at 799. So that was probably a year and a half that I ballooned up a good amount. It was just a lot of gorging and sitting and not moving. Anxiety took a big toll on me.
That's such a short amount of time.
It was. And what do you think how that's going to respond? That's a big stressor, right? All of a sudden, that's
not to interrupt you, but let me ask you this real quick, because I'll probably forget it. Were you in pain, like from inflammation from being that big?
I had hip issues. My hips were bothering me, my legs. I couldn't stand very long. So sitting was the most, I alleviated my pain pretty well by sitting. I couldn't lay down, couldn't breathe. So I had to sit against the wall. I remember sitting against the wall at night, sleeping, and on my bed.
You never laid down to sleep?
I couldn't. I could wedge myself up, so I was kind of sitting maybe like that at the most. But I would sit against the wall. Well, I sat against the wall so much against my bed. I had my bed, and I sit against the wall on my bed. The drywall actually caved in and made a hole because I was leaning against it so many nights in a row.
That is crazy.
It was bad, man. It was, but I didn't realize how bad I'd become. That's the problem.
Because it happened so quickly.
Yeah.
That's part of the problem. I'm glad he asked that question, because that time span is just mind-blowing to go from, you remember in junior high being a reasonable size, to now I'm a sophomore and I'm 799.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
I wish I remember the actual weight I was. I was probably high 200, maybe almost 300. So I was still a big kid, like I said, but you
Yeah,
know, you
yeah.
pop
You
on.
still packed on 400,
Yes.
500 pounds
Yes,
in like
about a year and a half.
14 months.
Yeah.
And there was no trigger for that, right? It's just you just started. You did the Atkins diet, you stopped, and then you just went back to your old habit.
Yes, I fell in love with food again in an unhealthy way, and that's what
Yeah.
it just clung to that.
Yeah, it's like, oh, that dark mistress showed back up.
Yeah.
So
That's
now,
nice.
when you because we've talked about some of the cravings and stuff. So like, could you sit down and eat like an entire 8-inch round 3-layer cake with no problem?
Oh yeah, I remember. uh, Man, it's like it's so funny to talk about your past experiences, especially if you feel like part of me feels shameful about it, but then I remember how much of an example this is, and it can be fun.
It's
I
a
have fun with
huge.
it.
It's
Yeah.
dude. It's a huge.
Yeah.
I'm the same way. Like it has more value coming from someone like you who've been there, done that,
Yes.
and has completely turned your life around,
Yeah.
than somebody who maybe they like. I could train people because at my worst, when I was drinking, I was 240 pounds. So now, and I'm 6 feet. So 240 at 6 feet I was out of shape. I was unhealthy. Now I'm about 177 to 100, between 75 and 180, fluctuates. But I've been there, done that. So I have validity. I have credibility. If someone asks me, hey, how did you do that? I tell them, right?
Yeah.
And so you have so much power with your story. And people need to hear it because obesity, America is one of the most obese countries in the world. So I love your story. I love your approach to it. So
The other important part is the fact that you can laugh about it now because
Yeah.
humor is huge, right?
yeah.
I'll out us, and I do it all the time. Before we hit record here, Justin was kind enough to call Chris and I gentlemen, and he just figured out why that was not the proper term because we have such a dark sense of humor from where we've both been. We were both in very dark places in different situations, right? If you can't let go of that and use it as a positive step forward, you're always going to live in that place in the past, right?
Sure.
We can't talk about that. Well, now you're stuck there. That's something you put in a safe in the back of your mind, and you have to deal with it eventually. So I appreciate the fact that you use humor.
Yeah. Oh, Mary Hart does good like medicine. That's an old scripture reference that I would go to, right? So you gotta laugh, and I think you can't live in shame because that's your old you. I mean, you
Correct,
can
right.
you can live in victory though. You don't have to be a victim, right? So yeah, I could probably slam down. I mean, I think I remember a birthday cake, a sheet cake. It was a good size. I don't remember the actual
One of those sheet cakes.
the sheet cake that would probably, I don't know, feed maybe about 12 people or so,
Yeah.
right? For a decent size. I mean, I'm talking like
Yeah.
a decent size piece.
Sure.
I probably slammed about 3/4 of that down because everybody else had a piece too, right? So I
Like where
remember
most
going,
people's mothers would say, there better be leftovers of
that's
that
right.
cake.
Ain't no leftovers, this guy. I went and I just
Right.
would go from piece to piece though. I would literally have 3 pieces and then a bowl of ice cream with that. And then I would couple of minutes, maybe about 10, 20 minutes later, nobody's watching. My parents might be
Right.
watching TV. I'm going to go back, get 2 more slices. And then I would just start taking the whole sheet and just kind of taking my hands and just eating it and eating it. And eventually becoming oblivious to what I was and how much I was eating, just kind of fell into it, a trance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It became a habit. And
Yeah.
when stuff becomes a habit, oftentimes you stop thinking about what you're doing because it's second nature. It's a
Absolutely.
habit. Like I don't think about drinking water in the morning because I just get up and drink water in the morning.
Good example. I do the same thing.
It's a habit, right? You don't think about your nighttime routine because guess what? It's a habit.
Right.
And that's what people don't from an addict standpoint, that's part of our problems because it just becomes part of who we are.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's just like a common just trait that we carry with us. But I mean, I would just eat so much, but ice cream sandwiches, a whole box of those. I mean, I was
Nice.
I was just so, I would slam. I look at these influencers out there today that make money off of monetizing overeating. Like some of these, like, oh, we eat a whole pizza in less than an hour, things like that.
Yeah.
I find myself watching those and be like, I could have schooled these fools, And if I would have just did it over again, man, no. But it is.
That was great.
Yeah.
That was
yeah.
awesome. That
I
was
just
awesome.
watch it. I'm like, that used to be me. I could kill you, bro.
So, take you down. So let's go back to the hospital. You're checked in. The ambulance gets you there. You're 799 pounds. What's the health? What's your health like at that point in time? 16 years old.
Yeah. Yeah, so good news. I mean, I just saw the hand of God's favor over my life at that point. I mean, I remember the only thing I had was sleep apnea, and that was because when
Oh.
I laid down, my weight would kind
Yeah.
of smother me, right?
Sure.
So, I stopped breathing about, they said, I think it was like 60 some to 70 sometimes an hour respiration wise.
While you're
I would
sleeping?
stop breathing.
Wow.
So it was pretty severe sleep apnea. They put me on a BiPAP machine, not a CPAP. BiPAP was continual airflow. The
Okay.
CPAP kind of just blares in and then levels out, breathes in, kind of has a ramp. The
Okay.
BiPAP was just forceful continuation up and down, that I remember correctly, if I remember that correctly. But
Did
it was,
you
they said to me
realize-
something like that.
Did you realize during that time how much better you were sleeping after they did that? Because you couldn't have been sleeping very well, waking up 70 times an hour.
Yeah. I remember not wanting to wear it at first because they have a mask and you put it on. Like, I remember feeling like
That would
I was
suck.
wearing it and it's just smothering a little bit. So it took me a while to get used to it. But after I got used to it, yeah, my sleep became very, very well rested when I woke up. I
You
remember
had
like,
to have noticed a huge difference.
yeah, after a while. But being a teenager, I didn't really care back then. But I'm thinking back and how much
Good
I
point.
slept better. I slept better. I remember not remember exactly how I felt, I guess. More like I just was able to think more clearly and I wasn't so cranky. So I do remember those little tips there. But yeah, the sleep apnea was one thing. And then I had I really just hadn't anything else. I mean, my cholesterol levels are very low. Blood pressure was normal. My heart
Wow.
rate though was elevated. I remember, I think it was like when I was sitting there, it was almost 100, 110, just sitting
Wow.
because it was such a,
Wow.
yeah.
Trying to pump your blood through all that
Yeah.
mass.
Yeah, because what they say, normal resting heart rate, and they say normal is between 60 and 100. Well, honestly, 100 is not really normal. It's on the far end of normal. It's unless you have a disorder or some kind of issue with the heart electrical system, then that's not really normal. So I mean, today it's like 55, 58.
Yeah. My resting heartbeat's 54.
Yeah, beautiful. That's great.
Yeah.
So those are the only two things I remember them saying. I mean, and I was obese.
That's amazing. No, but that's amazing. But that probably a lot of that has to do with the fact you're only 16 years old, right?
Correct.
And from
Yes.
what we've kind of gathered in the conversation, that was an 18-month pack on. So it's not like you were slowly, I'm not saying killing yourself, but you weren't slowly, adding, every year 100 pounds, 100 pounds,
Yep.
100 pounds. It was a dramatic increase in weight in a short amount of time. So that is impressive. That definitely good news from that aspect, right?
Yeah.
So what was the game plan when you're in the hospital? What were they going to do? What was the strategy? And did you start your weight loss journey after the hospital stay, or did it take a while?
The hospital stay was the initiator.
Okay.
So I was in there probably for about 2 to 3 weeks. It was like beginning mid-August somewhat to the end of August, because I remember school was starting soon. So in
Gotcha.
Pennsylvania, it starts at the end of August, I believe. And I remember being in there and not knowing what they're going to do. They talked about vigorous rehabilitation. That sounded painful. I was like, I don't really want to do vigorous rehabilitation, but they talked about maybe putting me into a hospital somewhere that helped me lose weight quicker. But they didn't have any beds available for me. So what they did is first off, they started walking me a little bit. I couldn't walk very far, but I remember the first time they had me up and walking, they kind of helped me roll out of bed. I had a one of those things that hangs down from the ceiling to pull myself a little bit,
Yep.
like a bar.
Yeah.
Got my legs over, started cramping up so bad it was miserable. But when I eventually got those cramps started subsiding, I had these two really beautiful nurses walk in and say, "Hey, we're gonna take you for a walk," and that was motivation
Yeah.
city for a teenager.
Sure. Especially as
like,
a 16-year-old.
Damn straight.
That's right. Like, bro's gonna walk today, right? So, so they one grabbed me from one side, one grabbed from the other side, and ended up walking me probably about 10 to 12 feet. And then I cramped up so bad I had to go back and sit back down. So
You had to
that was
they had
my-
to massage you. Bummer.
They didn't do it though. They didn't do it. They just said sit there and just kind of like rub it out. I'm like, okay, but
Isn't it your job to rub it out,
right.
nurse?
Yeah, you're the professional.
Yeah, please. I can't even reach my feet. Please. No.
Am I doing this right?
Right. Yeah. But just taking the first steps like that are painful. But here's the good news. They had me up and moving, and I remember standing even for like 2 minutes was a record for me at that point. My back would start aching, but the perseverance aspect of it, because all of a sudden, it's like life starts to make more sense to you, and like you kind of, I guess, reality was this: if I didn't do something, I was going to die.
You and I were in the same position.
Right, but from a health standpoint, you really wouldn't have died because your heart rate was elevated, but part of that was because of the obesity.
He would have if he was packing on 200 pounds every 18
I guess that's
months.
True.
Okay, and think about the pressure on the heart too. Your heart's designed to hold up.
You hit the nail on the head, Chris.
Yeah.
He was 16 years old. By 26, he was dead.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay, I could see that.
So my journey was I was basically killing myself with what I was eating and my habits, and I did have a opportunity to like think about life a little deeper because I'm like, what am I doing here? As a 16-year-old, I'm trying to ponder this. And do I want to live like this the rest of my life? Do I really want to be this guy that just eats food and trying to put it in a 16-year-old head?
Yeah.
I didn't want to be like that. I wanted to date girls one day. I wanted to play football. I want to be around to watch what happens next in WWF or E, right?
Yeah,
I want to do all that stuff.
Like Pinocchio, I want to be a real boy.
I want to be a real boy. I need the fairy godmother. Well, that's when I did have a relationship with Jesus. It started at that point. And that's what really changed my outlook on myself. Now, at a teenage years, I didn't know what that meant really. I mean, I would still be the guy that said, all right, I believe in Jesus and look at porn, or, I'm believing Jesus, but I'm going to go swear and do my thing. I don't care what anybody says. Like, so very selfish in my heart, but I did have a faith that really captured my heart and really captured who I was. And that changed me. And so, because here's the thing, the biggest change for me at that point was this. I went from not loving myself and hating myself for what I'd become, because image is everything as a teenager. And if you're called fat or looked at, because I was called a bunch of names in school because I was
Kids are brutal, man.
They're terrible. And that was what went with me as I was living life and being large. And I kind of claimed that over my life. And eventually it just came to a point where I'm like, you know what? I don't like who I am. I don't like what people have called me. I don't want to be the fat guy anymore. I need help. And that's when I said, God, help me. Jesus, help me in this process. And I started finding more value in my life at that point, as much as I could understand it. I'm like, my life means something more than just eating food. My life means something more than just existing. And so, God, do what you want to do with it. And that was my simple prayer that motivated me to look at my experience a little differently. And then suddenly from there, I'm like, I'm going to give this thing what I have to get healthier again. And I didn't know I was going to live or die, to be honest, because at that age and that weight, I just felt like life was over. Because how do you get out? It's like if you guys ever had, if you ever would take something like maybe hold 100 pounds of something and just put it on your lap and try to get up, and just feel how difficult that is. And just think about that tension all the time. And it's like a prison. It's like you're shackled. You just can't move very well.
I have a friend right now, Justin, who had the lap band surgery. He was well over 400 pounds, and he just weighed in last Monday. I think he said he was 251, and the pride in his face, and to look at him and how much better he moves and how happier he is, it really brought tears to my eyes. I was like, congratulations, man, because he's trying and he's doing the work, and it's outstanding. And I think about what you said, and I tell people, it's like that guy was carrying around another 200 pounds.
Yeah.
It was a lot. And
you were carrying around another 500 pounds.
True story. Yeah. That's a
now
lot.
with you being, it was 5'9", right? Or 5'10"?
I was 5'8".
Okay.
A little over 5'8".
Is that how tall you are now? 5'8"?
5'8". We'll call it 5'8".
Okay.
I haven't measured in a while. I'm sure I am.
Okay. Right.
I'll crunch some vertebrae.
Right. Well, no, when I had neck surgery, man, I shrunk a little bit because they took a vertebrae out, and legit, I'm like, I call bullshit. I'm like, I'm shorter now. Come on. So when oh hell, I forgot my question. It was a good question too. Oh, I'm sorry. That's what it is. So according to the chart that, like I could Google it, height, what should your weight be at according to the American standards as far as a healthy?
About 160.
It's 160-ish. Yeah.
Okay.
It's stupid. Like there's no.
He's an inch shorter than me. Mine's 165.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. 160 is that total. But like I said earlier, if they don't factor in the muscle and they don't factor in what you're doing, like you can be a bodybuilder and be obese just because that's what you categorize on the BMI.
Gotcha.
Well, here's the difference.
That's why
I got up to 185 when I was on antidepressants, whatever you want to call them, mood enhancers. I was fat. There's no question. But had I been working out, I wouldn't have been fat. I know what you're saying. If I had been conscious of going to the gym and keeping up on maintaining the calories I was putting in, that's a whole different story, right? Because now you're healthy.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. There's just difference. There's difference. I mean, you take care of yourself and you're gaining muscle and you're losing fat, you're in a better place. You're just in a better place. And so that's where I'm at today. I mean, I had to learn a lot over the process of this whole thing. I mean, I fell in love with health and wellness. I fell in love with taking a life and making it healthier with things that we're able to use here on this earth to do that. I mean, that can be food, that can be exercise, that can be supplements, that can be getting sunlight, all the different things. I've just studied since I was about probably 18 or 16 years old. I started studying because that's when I had a transformation. And I just wanted to learn everything I could. So I read magazines back then and rented or got books from the library. I remember when the internet was more prevalent with websites, I just started Googling things and searching, health and wellness stuff. Today it's everywhere and it's saturated. There's so many voices, and some of the stuff I call bull crap on. Other things, people are just trying to get views, and it's just like you're deceiving so many people. And the second thing is there's a lot of good information out there. Yeah. So, but how do you differentiate that? You have to know your stuff.
Right.
So
is that what you offer as a health and wellness coach, is basically deciphering the good from the bad? Here's what I've found will help you and is worth the money and the time and the investment, because that's a big thing. It's not just the money, it's your time and investment and the negative attributes to your body for the people who are snake oil salesmen, for lack of a better term. Right. Yeah.
I do. So because of my love for health and wellness and my love for helping people become healthier, because I see people differently today. I see people as opportunities. When they're sick or unhealthy, I see their health. I can see the beyond the sickness, beyond the obesity, and I can see them shining. I can see them happier. And so that just makes me feel so very much inspired to go help people. So I work for a company right now called Energized Health. That's a cellular health company that's out there that does amazing things. And what we prioritize is this. We prioritize fat loss. We prioritize cellular health, so getting hydrated at a cellular level that's really changed your health in general and really improve and reverse conditions that people have. We've seen people get off medications. People started pain levels have gone way down, reversals of certain diseases. Like, it's crazy when it happens when you hydrate yourself.
So how do you hydrate? How do you hydrate yourself? Because I've never heard this before. I mean, are we talking just water and electrolytes, or is it something
So that's
else
a starting
completely?
point, but it's a whole Energized Health is a whole protocol. So yes, water, electrolytes are a primary starting point, but then there's these other, what you will call them, sequences that we use to help people really stick that water there and continue to throw out toxins from the cells. It's very scientific, and it's sequenced in such a way to make it work and do well. So we share that with the program, but yeah, it starts with that. And when people do that, I've literally seen people get off all their medications. I've seen people who couldn't walk start walking again. Like, you think this is like we're sitting in this fairy tale, but honestly, it's not. People because they take their health seriously, they recover. It's amazing. So, and then we prioritize muscle gaining, which is so important. Muscle is a longevity organ. And so we really, really stress gaining muscle for your current situation, for quality of life, but also for quantity later on in life. So that's what I do today. I coach people, plus I author books, and I have a podcast called 600 Pounds Down, which I go on there and share a lot of information, which y'all need to be on that sometime soon, by the way. Because you guys
we would love to, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I think together we're what, 300 pounds, Mike and I?
Yes.
So like you're half of 600, that works.
Yeah, we would love to, man. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, that's so good.
I love what you're doing now, because that's fantastic. So you have the epiphany when you're 16, something's got to change. So you start walking this new path. How long did it take you to get from 600 pounds to what you felt was a healthy weight? Because obviously your journey is still continuing,
Right.
but to where you could wake up in the morning and say, "Oh, I feel good." And the other thing, this is a weird little question, but I meant to ask it earlier, so I'm doing a little rabbit hole thing. When you were 800 pounds, essentially, and you would look in the mirror, what did you see? Did you like what you saw? Did you recognize the fact that you're this 800-pound human? Or did you just kind of just filter that out because obviously you weren't in a good place mentally, right? So that just always kind of intrigued me of what's your self-image what's your self-worth, what's your self-image when you look in a mirror and say, oh my God, I can't believe I got to this far. Or do you even see it? Does it even register? You know what I'm saying?
I, I, it's interesting because I would never want to look at myself in the mirror. When I was
Okay.
that large, I would avoid cameras. I would avoid people seeing me. I'd hide. I mean, I didn't, when people came to visit, I would not want them to come
Yeah.
to my room, all the things. So I wouldn't
Okay.
care to look in the mirror because I didn't care about myself enough to see that because I didn't see myself in such a light.
That's interesting.
Yeah, not even to see if what's on my face. I did check my face out, all the acne I had to like, get off when I was a kid, but other
Yeah.
than that, I didn't care. Well, and I still kept, I remember because I was so large, I was probably 500 pounds, still kind of mobile, still doing like, still being going around and I would go to my friends' houses randomly here and there because I would get out
Sure.
still. Maybe 480, but really close to 500, I feel like. And I'd go to their room and play video games and I
Hmm.
would break their bed just sitting on it.
Ouch.
Wow.
And I remember going out to restaurants and sitting on the chairs and bending
Mm.
the legs
Mm.
on some of these chairs. And so when I was losing, when I was on
Yeah.
my journey,
Yeah.
I still had it in my mind, even if I was like 300 pounds or less, I
Yeah.
still had it in my mind that if I sat on anything, I would probably break it. And it wasn't true,
Oh.
but it was like this in my head. And then finally
Wow.
I started seeing myself in the mirror. I'm like, I'm starting to see muscle definition. I'm starting to
Nice.
see life get better. My body's starting to change. And I started
Yeah.
actually not loving myself per se, but just
Right.
starting appreciating the differences and changes. So I started getting pictures of myself. I started doing all the
Okay.
things. Um, I did have some skin reduction surgeries completed that ultimately, guys, it was amazing how they came about. They were free except for I think I put in like $200 at the most for three
Okay.
different surgeries. Two of them were from a doctor in New Jersey. His name was Dr. Barry DiBernardo. He's probably still there. It's in Montclair, New Jersey. And he did the surgeries for free because I was in some magazines and
Oh,
he saw those
Shout
and it's
out.
like, yeah. So he's like, hey, let's do this. So he did some surgeries for skin reduction. I think he did two. Yeah, he did two of them. And then I had a third one completed recent, it was about 5 years ago now in Pittsburgh with Dr. Rubin. And my town in Bradford really got behind me and they helped me raise, I think it was like $68,000 that I needed
wow.
around there to really have another surgery done and get my legs completed and stuff like that. So I've had some good surgeries completed. So now I can look at myself and say I can see more muscle definition. I still have some skin and I
Mm.
sometimes get a little self-conscious about it, but looking back to where I was, it's
Yeah.
it's night and day.
Okay, so here's my rabbit hole question since Chris drugged me down. You mentioned earlier that you couldn't go to the bathroom, and God bless your brother for helping you out.
Yeah.
That's a great human being. Could you bathe
Mm.
yourself at your largest without
I
breaking the
Mm.
tub or
Mm.
Oh, guys, I couldn't even take a bath. I couldn't even.
I
We didn't
didn't.
even have a
Yeah.
working shower. Actually, I remember we were so poor, we didn't even have an operating shower. We had an operating bathtub. But
so did
no.
your brother help you with that too, as far as
So
Like
trying
my
to
sponge,
keep you
like
parents,
sponge
clean?
bath,
I got
sponge bath.
sponge baths. My
Yeah.
parents actually gave me showers outside with a when I could still walk a little bit. Um, with a hose and
Garden hose. I
and
was gonna
just
say
sit in
Wow.
the
garden
yard.
hose.
My mom was like trying to shower me as I was, yeah. So I mean, I would try to reach under my folds as much as possible,
Wow,
but they
man.
really had to help me with things.
I
And
just think that puts it into perspective for
yeah,
people. It's like, things that you get up and do every day that, like Chris
Mm-hmm.
said, you don't even think about, you take
Mm-mm.
for granted.
yeah,
You just couldn't do those things at
no,
all.
no, they're
So you, so how long has it taken you to pull the weight off from the 800 pound to where you, like I said earlier, where you were finally comfortable in your own skin, and like you alluded to, you kind of answered the question, but you didn't give me a time frame. Yeah. And I'm that guy that likes time.
About 8
frames.
years. About
okay,
8 years.
Okay, cool.
I felt comfortable about 8 years. So it was.
So now
I lost.
you're 24 at that point.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I lost 200 pounds in 1 year, 200 pounds in the second year. So I was 400 pounds in 2 years.
Okay.
And then it was very slow. 6 years after that, it was just kind of like 20 pounds, 40 pounds or whatever, right? Just kind of like slow to the 8 year mark. 8 years, I relapsed a little bit and started gaining some weight back, like 60 pounds. I probably was about 270-ish at that point. And then I just started getting serious again. And here I am today. The lowest I was at was around 199, 202.
But were you happy with that?
I wasn't really happy because I was getting too thin and I wanted to put some muscle on. So that's why I really started really working the weights and everything like that. So I'm at 211.6. Sometimes I'll be at 209. I fluctuate 209 to 213 basically is where I end up.
Now, when you weigh yourself, because like my wife, women like to weigh themselves every day. I'm like, you can't weigh yourself every day. You pick one day a week. You weigh yourself the same exact time once a week, because that's a true.
Yep.
It's a true reflection of what work you're doing or not doing, right? Yep. So I'm just Sunday morning, 7 o'clock, I'll weigh myself when I get up. That's it. Where she'll like every other day, I'm like, you gotta stop. Especially with women, because women carry water different.
Yep.
They hold things different. They're not like men. So it's that. Like we can go walk for an hour and I'll burn like 700 calories and she'll burn like 400. So I'm like, you just can't, right?
Right.
So it's just that one time a week to get your reference and then go from there. At least in my world.
Yeah.
No, that's all true.
Yeah.
Exercise is so vital for me today too. Every day I'm moving. Every day.
That's good.
You develop these habits, guys, and you just, the thing is, we're never gonna make it. So when I said 8 years, it's been 22 years now for me.
Sure.
And I learn something new every month, every year. And I'm not the same guy I was last year. I'm a totally different guy today. I'm doing 75 hard right now. I've never done that.
Oh, right on. I've done that a couple of times. That's
cool.
fun.
Yeah. It's really, it builds your discipline. It's really amazing. So I've been doing it with a group of guys right now.
Cool.
It's working well. I'm liking it, but I'm not doing it for weight loss per se. I'm doing it to like body composition.
Right. See, I couldn't do mine for weight loss either, because I fell into it by accident, because I was at Orange Theory one day and somebody was talking about it and I was listening. I'm like, well, I read every day. And I eat insanely healthy as opposed to most Americans. And I was already doing 2 workouts a day, because at my last 3 years at Orange Theory, I would do back-to-back workouts Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and just do one on Tuesdays, Thursdays. But my wife and I were always doing something in the morning or at night. So I was already working out like 15 times a week. I'm like, well, this is stupid. I might as well just do this.
Yeah.
Because I'm already doing it.
Right.
So, but again, my problem, tunnel vision, then I ended up having a stress fracture in my second metatarsal on my right foot, because I don't listen to my body. I just kick my own ass, because, I was at my absolute best fitness, which was last year, before we decided to put myself in a boot. I was 173 pounds. I had like 8% body fat. My BMI, which we've already talked about, that skewed. I was 23.1. 72% of my body was muscle. Then you had the water weight and the fat, but it literally, I did back-to-back miles in under 6 minutes.
Wow.
As a 53-year-old.
Wow.
Who grew up with asthma, that moved to Arizona because I was going to die with asthma so bad. So my journey was from 2015, and it's still going on, like you said, because when you're a big person, and I wasn't anywhere near you, I was, like I said, 240, but the shift, and it takes a while. Like, people don't get how long it takes. So that's why I asked that question, because 200 pounds a year, back-to-back years is phenomenal, but that was obviously weight that your body was just trying to get rid of to begin with. And because now you kind of struggle. So when I got released from my neck surgery and I started Isogenics and started the Orange Theory, that was in October of 14. So by January of 15, I was down to 166 pounds, but there was no muscle.
Yep.
Right. I was just as skinny, and my wife hated it because there was no definition. So it took 5-6 years consistently working out to build the muscle to get to where I had a solid foundation, and then you just build on top of that. So what you're doing is an accurate approach, in my eyes anyway, to
Yeah.
living a healthier lifestyle, and now you're building the muscle. So we have to have you back on in a year just to see
Yeah,
what
dude.
your growth is.
Yeah.
Because I think you're going to be phenomenal in a year if you continue working out and adding muscle.
Absolutely.
So then your physique's going to be better. The more muscle you add, the healthier you feel, the more active you feel, the more energized you feel, the clearer your mind is. It's a whole encompassing thing when you start living a fully, tunnel vision towards healthy lifestyle that a lot of people don't get.
Absolutely.
But when you do
Yeah.
it, it's the end result's fantastic.
Absolutely. And I'm taking progress, you take a progress picture every day with 75 hard. So you have to like take a progress picture. So I have those pictures and I can just compare those
That's
to,
awesome.
the future. Yeah. So it's good. No, I appreciate that. And anything, I would just give people advice. Like if you're listening to this and you're sitting there and you're like, man, what do I do? How can I'm not a weightlifter about this. If you can just do basic things, like even just every 5 minutes, if you want to, or every hour, you want to walk for 5 minutes up and down your hallway, just stand up for a little bit and see if you're sitting down all day. Just start somewhere. But if you're already used to working out, challenge yourself with something different. Do something different.
Right.
Do like you do, like carry stuff around your yard or go for a hike or anything that
Right.
you can do to get something different. Your body adapts. So when you have muscle adaptation, you're not going to burn as many calories. You're not going to have a big thermogenic effect from weight loss because your body's used to what's happening. So
Right.
invest in more energy by doing some different things. So I would just say start somewhere. And you can make it your own thing. Have fun with it a couple times a week. Build up from there. Keep the end in mind where you want to be, and then work on it from there. Take some steps.
like
That's
that.
how I would suggest starting today.
I like that. Keep the end in mind. That's cool.
Yeah, you
I'm
just
not-
can't take the whole thing in one thought, right? That's the
No.
key is when I started my recovery, I took it 10 seconds at a time. That's how addicted I was, right? It wasn't
amazing.
minutes, it was seconds.
That's amazing, though.
Yeah. Yeah. We had one of my friends on the show who's a local entrepreneur, but he's also huge in the peptides. And his dad would preach to him, inch by inch is a cinch, yard by yard is hard. But it's the same concept. Like you have, in order to win in your profession, I've talked about this before, you got to win the day. So you got to have a certain amount of hours that are productive for you to win the day. Then you got to have at least 4 to 7 days a week to win the week, and you got to have at least 16 out of 30 days a month to win the month, right? You got to have at least the majority of the year, so 8 months or 9 months out of the year to win the year, because everybody's going to lapse, right?
Well,
Nobody's
just like
perfect,
you just
nobody's
laid
flawless.
it out. You lost all your weight, but it took you years to get to where
Yes.
you're at today, right? You didn't wake up looking like you do today. That's not going to happen
No.
overnight. Justin
No,
didn't wake up
exactly.
looking like he does. I've been
Right.
fascinated for the whole time we've been sitting here that this guy was 800 pounds, right?
Right?
It's just,
Right?
I'm so happy for you. That's what that's what I see the whole time I've been looking is how happy I am for you that you were able to enjoy life again. That's the one thing that I hope for any addict is that they overcome it and that they're able to be happy again.
Yeah.
I love living life. I love waking up every morning because the one thing that I always tell people is being an addict is you think that you're doing something that's different and taboo and, oh, I'm getting away with this, but really it's Groundhog Day. It's the same day every day. When I wake up, I don't know what's going to happen now because I'm clear. I'm facing the world head on. You don't know what's going to happen that day.
Right.
And that's the fun part about it. When you're an addict, that scares you to go out into society and have to live and face people because you're an addict. But that's the part you don't realize. That's kind of a catch-22.
Yeah, it is. I just love the concept of you just said those second buys, 10 seconds. 10 seconds is, yeah. I mean, that's really a way to look at everything. I mean, if you're able to get 10, eventually you're able to get 11. If you're able to get 11, you're able to get 20 eventually, and eventually 20 days, eventually 20 years, eventually lifetime.
Right.
And life is perspective for everyone, right? It's all in how you look at things. Somebody might look at something negatively and you look at it and say, well, don't you see this?
Right. Yeah. That's good. Perspective's everything.
So what's a typical day for Justin Willoughby now?
Man, I'm a beast. I'll tell you what. So I get up, I do, I'll have like a little bit of protein just to keep my muscle because I do work out. I do cardio. I do lift weights. So I have a little protein, usually a protein shake. I'll go to the gym within a half hour, waken, hit some red light therapy just for skin mitochondrial function.
Yep.
I'll hit the weights I'll warm up on a treadmill or something first for like 10 minutes, then go to the weights for about 45 minutes to an hour, usually hitting two muscle groups. So it could be back and chest, or it would be biceps and triceps, things like that. So I'll do that for a little bit, and then I'll go to the cardio for an hour. Unless I'm stressed for time, I usually do an hour cardio every day at the gym.
Okay.
And then I'll go home, I'll get a shower, I'll do my thing, and then I'll have my breakfast, which I have about a 500 calorie breakfast. And then it's filled with proteins.
But high in protein, right? I was going to say, but
yeah.
high in
Oh, yeah.
protein.
Yeah.
Because so that's the thing that people kind of misunderstand sometimes
Right.
when they're trying to get healthy. It's not so much about it's not so much about the low calorie diet, or lifestyle.
It's
Yeah.
what calories
It's-
you're putting into
Exactly.
your body.
Right.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah.
If you
'cause
took a donut,
yeah.
that's 500 calories.
But it's shit.
Yeah.
But if you take 500
You know,
calories of eggs and turkey sausage, it's good, healthy protein. Good point, Justin. Go
Yep,
on with your day, man.
But yeah, no, it's good. I like your passion behind it. I'll go ahead and I'll have those, like, I'll have 2 or 3 whole eggs, and I'll have a half cup of egg whites with that. And that'll be my protein source. Sometimes I might have a Greek yogurt with that just for more protein, depending if it's a large muscle group day and I worked them hard, I'll have more. I might even take, if I don't have that much, I might take some essential amino acids like perfect aminos or optimal aminos, just to make sure I get enough protein adequately to heal the muscle and help it regrow. And then I do like fermented foods every day too, like sauerkraut. I'll do that with some cinnamon and a little bit of shot of olive oil, extra virgin, and then a little bit of honey, because all that is a really good gut microbiome health bomb, if you will. So I'll have that with a fruit with my eggs. And so we're at about a 500 calorie breakfast. I'll go for a little walk after breakfast for like 10 minutes just to balance blood sugar. And then usually outside in the sun, if it's shining, it's nice. Wintertime's a little harder, but I do it. And then I usually sit, I work, I'm a coach, and I'm on Zoom calls all day long most of the time, or doing projects on the side with them, or recording a podcast, whatever, right? And just a lot of time sitting. But I'll have a standing desk. I stand up. Sometimes I sit, but usually stand. I'll have weights or things in my room, in my office here, and I'll start doing some weights for like 30 seconds to a minute, whatever. I'll just take like break every hour and do something for 5 minutes, and then get back to work.
And that's super important, boys and girls, because everybody leads such a sedentary lifestyle, especially when they work and they're behind a desk in front of a computer. I catch myself because I get in the zone. My wife says I have ADHD, but I'll end up I'll do something all of a sudden 3 hours later, I'm still sitting at my desk.
He's only known you for an hour and he figured it out.
Right. So, but I'm that thing now where I when I go to my office, I do my phone and I set it for an alarm every hour on the hour. So then when it goes off, I'll just walk around the office, or I'll go outside. We have this weird dog run type thing in front of our office because it's a unique building. Yeah. But it's so true. You get up and walk around for 10 minutes. The difference of how you feel just for that 10 minutes is fantastic.
Yeah, I love it.
So very mindful consideration there to think about. Even if you're not healthy and you're trying to kind of get started, walk an hour a day. Just go for a walk.
It's that simple.
Just start there and build off that. You don't have to
started by moving 12 steps.
10 to 12 steps.
Yeah, exactly. Look at Justin. 12 steps.
When they say one step at a time, we're talking to the living example.
Yeah.
There you go.
Sitting back down. Just
one step at a time, right to
One
what
step.
he weighs right now, which is once again, I'm
that's
so happy
the
for you, man.
Yeah. That was my old motto, one step. I believe in that. But then the rest of the day, like I'm eating, I'll have like a protein bar and maybe like a yogurt. I do a lot of protein all day long. I'm probably gathering, because of my fitness level, because of what I'm doing, I'm probably getting about 0.7 grams of protein per pound of body weight right now. So
are you
equals about
conscious of
160.
making sure your protein bars don't have like things that break down into sugars?
So yes, I'm very careful with my protein, but I don't do artificial sweeteners. That's junk. It's going to kill you. Just get away from that.
Yep.
I just do things with like, even stevia is questionable, but I do stevia.
It is
I'll do monk fruit. Yeah. So it's a little better, but I'll
do
a
honey
protein bar like that.
instead of sugar.
I put honey in my coffee.
Honey's great. Yeah, honey's great. Yeah. Honey. I do sweeteners like monk fruit. I really enjoy monk fruit sweetener. But yeah, I'll probably eat about 5 meals a day.
And a quick fact for the ladies and gentlemen out there, as Chris likes to call the boys and girls at home and around the world, do not put metal anything in your honey, or it destroys the properties, the antioxidant properties that you're trying to get.
No shit.
That's good. That's good.
Chris Dunham, did you not know this?
No, I stir my coffee with the metal spoon
Stop
when I
it.
pour honey in there.
Buy one of those wooden.
Damn it.
You're
Well, I
destroying
have
the antioxidant properties of your.
Well, that explains so much.
I just
And
learned
heating
this in
honey
the
does the
last
same
year.
thing.
Correct.
Yeah, you don't want to overheat honey either because that takes away the antioxidants and polyphenols.
I
that are
don't
in
heat
that.
it. I just pour it in the coffee and then I stir
Yeah.
it.
Well,
So,
sometimes
okay.
you have to heat it. Like I buy it by the gallon from the guy that I get it
Yeah.
from. Sometimes you got to heat it up to get the stuff back together. What do they call
That's
that?
good. It's raw. Yeah, it gets weird
Crystallized.
texture-wise. Crystallized is good. So raw local honey, organic raw local
Yeah.
honey is always
Yep.
the best.
That's
Local
what I
honey just
buy.
because of your area you live in is good for allergens. But honey's like a
yeah.
superfood. You can
Yeah, we got
people like
one
you do
at the
studies on
corner.
that. What was that?
We got one at the corner that sells honey, and yesterday he was selling honey and watermelon.
Oh, nice. That's a good combo.
That's a great
Sweet.
combination.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Right?
Let's go.
Watermelon's
800-pound
really good
Justin's
for you,
sneaking back
actually.
in.
Yeah. Watermelon's really good for you if you don't know that, boy. Listeners and
It is.
viewers, check it out. Google watermelon; it's really good for you.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it's great. It is great for you. There's a lot of great foods. Food can be medicine for a lot of things. If we just start cleaning it up now, get rid of the processed sugars, get rid of the junk, the white flours. That's a great starting point. Get rid
Which
of
is
the.
what-
I mean, that's all you got to do. Just start there. That's a really good
Baby
start.
baby step, right? You're not going to go to 0 to 60 like some of us addicts do. And that's the biggest thing too. And then we can wrap this thing up. The whole thing is why I don't like diets, right? Because they're fads and they're quick results now. Ozempic wasn't designed for weight loss. It was designed for diabetes. It was a byproduct, right?
Well, I always
So-
like to say everybody reverts back to the mean, right?
You're right. So you get instant results because you're shortcutting it.
You've told yourself, I'm going to try this for a while. Everybody does the same thing. I'm going to give this
Yeah.
a shot. However you
Right.
say it, it's not, this is the way I'm going to live my life.
Right. Exactly.
To your point in that it has to be a lifestyle change.
Yeah.
You have to say in your mind, from this day forward, I'm not going to do this anymore, and I am going to do this.
And
There's
it's
no
hard.
quick fix. There's no
It is
quick
hard.
fix.
And it's hard. Not everybody can be somebody like me that stops drinking one day and that's it. And stops
I did the
drinking
same
one
thing.
day
I
and that's
chose
it.
not to do
Right.
certain drugs for the rest of my
Right.
life.
It's-
I've never
yeah.
done them since.
That's amazing.
Right. So
Great for you.
baby step it. Have support. Reach out to Justin. He will coach you.
Hey.
He will help you on your weight loss, healthy lifestyle journey, won't you?
Yeah. Been there, done that, guys. I've been through
Exactly.
so much. Like experience screams, right?
Yes.
I am certified through Energize Health. That's another avenue you can go. But
Cool.
yeah, man, if you just want some help and assistance,
Yeah.
I'm there. I am there. Social media, you can always contact me. But I have plans that you dream of participating in to see the results.
go.
I've just found it all. It's amazing.
I believe that because you have a very good vibe about you,
Yeah.
man. I can see why you're successful at what you do.
Yeah.
You made me feel comfortable, and you're on our show. So
That's great.
Right.
there
I
you
love
have
it.
So Justin Willoughby, you can find him online, Facebook, Instagram too.
Yep, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok.
Okay.
I'm on all that.
Okay.
YouTube, 600 Pounds Down. Podcast, 600 Pounds Down podcast. Birthed out of my weight loss story, so you can listen to that as well.
Cool.
And if you guys need anything, I'm here. I'm
Well, huge
active on social.
congratulations to you, man.
Yeah.
I'm so, like I said, once again, I'm so happy for you, man. That's
Appreciate it, guys.
It's an amazing story. Definitely, we'd love to come on your show and talk more about whatever you want to
Anytime.
talk about because it's your
Dude.
show. But again, check out Justin Willoughby on all the social media platforms. YouTube, 600 pound journey.
It's 600 Pounds Down. Close.
600
Close.
pounds down. Sorry, I hate when I do that. 600 pounds down. Fascinating human. He's done it right. And again, we can't champion him enough because he's been there, done that. You want to learn how to do things from somebody that's been there and done that because they can relate to every aspect of your struggle and they can help you along your journey to change your life.
That's
So-
part of the reason we do this. So thank you
Yes.
for coming on and telling your story
Yeah.
because I think people get a lot out of, if they're in the same position as you, like Chris said, you are the guy to say you can do it because you're looking at somebody who's been there.
Yeah.
That's
Absolutely.
huge.
Yeah. And I've watched those shows. I've watched the 600 pound life. So has my wife. So I get it,
too.
man. I mean, that's why some of my questions came from, because it's one of those things that's like, now we're talking to somebody that's actually lived that life, and on TV, you don't know what's really real or not, or what's written up and scripted because you got to have the drama. So thank you so much for being vulnerable and sharing your story with us. That was fantastic.
Yeah.
Love that. I loved your transparency, your honesty, and your triggers, what made you turn, what made you shift. That was that's an inspiring story. You're a superhuman because of that. So, no bullshit. We'd love to come on your show. We'd love to have you come back in a year, just look about your journey again. Cause I think in a year you kind of, little Arnold Schwarzenegger going on,
A little Hulk Hogan going on. God bless his soul.
God, yeah.
Somebody's got to take over for the Hulk.
That's right.
What a terrible run of deaths, man.
I know.
This year, right? It's crazy.
Blew me away.
So anyway, and then we found out that Ann Burrell, they actually confirmed it was a suicide, which,
Really?
yeah.
Yep.
They found her unresponsive in her brownstone in New York with empty bottles and pills all around her in the shower, collapsed.
Oh my gosh.
So it was assumed,
Yeah.
right? But now they confirmed it yesterday.
Just goes to show you never know what people are going through.
Which is why, if you're feeling depressed or down, reach out to somebody that you can talk to, journal it, scream in your room, whatever you have to do. Don't be the person that takes your own life, because somebody's going to miss you and somebody loves you, whether you know it or not. Don't leave a hole in somebody else's heart because you were struggling. Reach out, find help. Tomorrow is a better day. You'll wake up feeling a lot better. So just find some peace today, chill out, relax. Be here tomorrow, because somebody will miss you, because somebody does love you, even though you may not realize it or not. Mike Michaels, Chris Dunham, Justin Willoughby, the man behind the transformation of losing 600 pounds. So find him on all the social medias. Justin, we totally want to have you back on. Thank you so much
thanks
for
again,
sharing your
man.
journey.
Thank you, guys.
Fantastic story.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for having me today. Y'all have a great one.
Absolutely. We're going to put your links and stuff on our page too. So
Perfect.
Until next time, everybody, see ya.
Peace.
Quickly, we're gonna fly and disappear. Look the tablet, go insane. Feel the tears flow through your eyes. On your journey, take it slow to the place where you will go. Feel the trail behind your eyes. Feel the sorrow beneath your Take a moment, listen to your tears. Fight the battle that you must win. Fight the battle that you must win. Listen, baby, to your fear. Yeah. Listen to your fear. Now you're turning, come down in. You haven't found solid to your sand. You keep on fighting, wait for the day when you close your eyes and it fades away. You ain't no preacher, but a praying man. You took your breath on the Almighty's hand. You got a dream, who in your life to keep on soaring every night. Take the trip behind your eyes. Feel the soul revolution now. Yeah. Take a moment, listen to your sin. Fight the battle.